If you want to be a dual wielding wand user with the best ones, the unique ones, you're going to need a lot of gold and a bit of patience. Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade today, giving you the location of all 3 unique ones in AVOWED. Let's go. So you won't actually be able to get hold of a unique ones until you get over to Fjord, the town major hub of the second region. And depending on what choices you make in AVOWED, you may actually have a bit of a time limit on this. If you go ahead and complete the ancient soil quest, you'll find that some of the traders in the town won't be available. I've done a few videos explaining exactly the choices that can happen, so go and watch that, I don't want to spoil it, but I would say yeah, make sure you don't complete the ancient soil quest until you're happy you've bought any unique items from the traders. Milion's Conduit is the first unique one you can pick up in the game. You'll get 5% attack damage boost, 30% maximum wand range, and hits will deal 10% bonus shock damage. And it may cost a bit more gold or less gold, it just depends what level you are at this point. So yes, if you want to get this wand but you need to go and do other stuff, or you just want to get through the game, there is a way that you can pick it up without any of the traders disappearing, but you need to complete the Steel Resolve quest. As I mentioned, please go and watch the guide I've done on that. So is it any good? Well, absolutely. That 5% increase plus the range does make it a lot more viable for enemies from afar. I don't really see much point in going full dual wielding wands. Absolutely a Grimmar with a wand is pretty good for me, at least until we get some more of the unique ones later. And of course, if you go ahead and enchant it, you get the choice between having 10% attack damage plus an increased 60% maximum wand range, or you can do the power attack option, dealing moderate stun to nearby enemies. You definitely get a lot of hits in using wands, and if you've got the right kind of stamina build, which is what you should be focusing on, then I think absolutely it's viable. But yeah, I would still say wait until you get hold of one of the second or third unique ones before you go full dual wielding. But that's just me. So the next one's actually the easiest one to get hold of, as it's in a chest in the middle of the Great Sea in Shatterscarp, the third zone. You'll of course have to deal with a ton of Dream Scourge around the area. And then nestled in some rocks with some of the mushroom growth on the floor, you'll find a chest that you need to unlock with 5 lockpicks, and inside you will find the Whisper of Exiles. And quite easy to find, as I said, it's literally above the A in the Great Sand Sea. You can definitely do a bit of a run over there, try and take care of the Dream Scourge, or just open the chest stealthily and get out if you're a bit underleveled. Frost is pretty OP as a element. It's utilised in so many different ways for so many of the endgame weapons. You can do a full combo attack dealing low frost accumulation to nearby enemies, and of course your hits will deal 10% bonus frost damage. And of course if you go ahead and enchant it, the first option will increase it to moderate frost accumulation to nearby enemies. Or something I don't recommend, a successful parry will deal high frost accumulation to an attacking enemy, not nearby enemies. Overall, I think parrying with a wand is pretty bad. You really ought to be using wands as a ranged option, of course, and keeping your distance from enemies as much as possible. You can only parry with the wands as long as you're only using one in your hand and the other hand is empty. And quite frankly, it's just a waste of absolute resources. Yes, you'll save on stamina because you won't be utilising another weapon, but also visually it just looks a bit baloney. It's actually blocking massive sword hits with a tiny little stick. And the third, and perhaps obviously the hardest to get, not just because it's in Galawain's Tusk, the 4th region, but also because it costs a ton of gold. You need to head to the South Tower where there'll be an NPC trader, and yeah, you can go and buy it. So obviously by this point you're looking at some of your gear and stuff that you're going to find being legendary, so it is going to be expensive. So yeah, 58,500 gold. Cruel Command has got a cruel price point. The bonus of course though is it should be a legendary. Some items can fluctuate in level depending on what level you are, but it usually drops from enemies or stuff that you find. By the time you get to late stage, I think earlier items, unique items can still fluctuate in price and level depending on what they are. So what does it do? Power attacks deal 75% stun to enemies with full health, hits deal 10% bonus fire damage, so it completes the elemental set. Quite frankly, it's just not worth it. Only if you was intent on being like a really subclass of stealth mage. But before I get into that, let me show you on the map, South Warden Tower. Literally just go north from where you enter Galawain's Tusk and you'll find it. Although weirdly, I actually avoided this place and went everywhere else until very late, until I was ready to complete and move on to the next area. And of course it is worth noting that if you go ahead and enchant it, that increases 150 stun to enemies with full health, or a successful parry gives attacking enemy 25% damage reduction for 10 seconds. So yeah, the first maybe enchantment's the best one, the second one really weak sauce. So you saw there from the clips, I was dealing absolutely some great stun, and I would say I put it on par with like a one-handed axe in terms of how much you actually generate, but getting an enemy with full health is something that can be a bit challenging, especially with your companions wading in sometimes. Even though they don't do much health, they often got a habit of hitting some of the enemies around you. For sure, that extra elemental damage can be great when you juxtaposition it with something like the frost damage one that you get from the other. And if you're dead set on being like a fire mage, then obviously this is the good choice. I don't think you really want to use this wand with any other kind of melee weapon though, because obviously it does a lot of stun, and so you're using stamina in a relatively low amount compared to maybe things like axes or other one-handed weapons that deal quite a bit. So you do kind of want to keep pummeling away with the wand to build up that stun meter, so of course you can trigger a special attack. But I don't know, they're just musings from me. I still want to play around with a lot more of the late game mage gear before making definitive judgments. I totally will be doing a full guide on the best uses of mage gear all the way through the game. So let me know what you've been doing with it. Do you enjoy using this wand? Have you found the other two? Did you miss out on the first unique wand? Well, at least you know you can pick up another one later in the game. Please do check out the rest of my guides if you found this useful. Leave a like and I'll see you right back some more soon.